Okay, so what we're going to do now is build the shoulder rig. So go ahead and zoom in this area, and here we're going to first switch to edit mode and make sure that the x-axis mirror is off. Go ahead and press the shift key down and go ahead and turn on this layer. Now what we want to do is simply click on this bone, press the shift key down, click on this one, do shift D to duplicate, right click to cancel. Go ahead and press the control key down and just bring them up 1, 2, and then 3. Now here, let's go ahead and click on this bone, go to the bone tab and turn off the deform. Do the same thing for this one. Now this is going to be our touch bone. So here we're just going to call this shoulder dot touch dot L and enter. And this is just going to be our mechanical bone. So here I'm just going to put an M over here and just remove this over here and enter. Okay, now what we need to do is go ahead and press the shift key down, click on this one over here, go ahead and do W, and here we're just going to do symmetry. Go ahead and click on these bones to make sure that they work. Make sure the x-axis mirror is on over here. Okay, so now what we're going to do is go ahead and switch to pose mode, and what we want to do is click on this bone, press the shift key down, click on this one, do shift control C, and here we're just going to do copy transforms. Go ahead and click on this bone, press the shift key down, click on this one, do shift control C and do copy transforms. And let's just do the same thing on these guys over here. Now here we're going to switch back to edit mode. Go ahead and click on these bones over here, press the M key, and we want to make sure that they're on the non-deform layer. Now go ahead and press the control key down and simply bring them down over here. Okay, now here we can simply go to the data tab and just work with the non-deform layer. So in order to make this work correctly, what we want to do is switch to pose mode. Now here you can see that when we click on this touch bone and press the R key, the shoulder will move on both sides. Now what we want to do is simply tell this bone to copy the rotation of this bone in its local space, but not all of it. So go ahead and click on this one, press the shift key down, click on this one, do shift control C, and here we're going to do copy rotation. Go ahead and do the same thing on this one, do shift control C, do copy rotation. Now click over here, go to the constraints and make sure that this is on a local space and local space. Click on this one, do local space and local space, right? So you should understand why we are setting this in local space, because we only want to rotate this bone if this bone rotates in its local space. Now over here, we don't want all the values. So here we're going to simply put this around. Let's just do 0.5 and enter. Click on this one and do 0.5 and enter. So now you will see that when you click on this touch bone and press the R key, this part is going to move, giving you a natural movement of the shoulders. Okay, so go ahead and let's save this file. Go under file, do save as, and here we're going to save this as rigging lesson 04f.blend. Okay, so what we're going to do now is create the bone shapes for these shoulder touch bones. So go ahead and click on this bone, press the shift key down, click on this one. And this time we're just going to press the M key and actually just put them on the touch layer because they're getting a bit crowded. So go ahead and go to the data tab over here, and let's just enable only the touch bone layer over here. Go ahead and click on this bone, do shift S and do cursor to selected, do shift A, and here I'm just going to add a circle. Just going to rotate with my middle mouse button a bit. Go ahead and click on this bone, press the shift key down, click on this circle, do shift control C, and here do copy transforms, click on the circle again, do Control A, do visual transform, go to the constraints and just turn this off to make sure that it's working, and go ahead and just X this out. So here I'm just going to call this W dot shoulder dot touch dot L. Now go ahead and hover your mouse, do Control C, go ahead and click on this bone, go to the bone tab and just do Control V. Now go ahead and click on this circle and make sure that the X-ray is on. Might want to zoom out and press the S key to scale this in. Kind of like this over here. Now here you want to decide what type of bone shape that you want to create for the shoulder. So here I'm just going to keep it very simple. Just press the 1 key to go to the front view. Go ahead and press the tab key to go into edit mode and press the G key. And here I'm just going to place it kind of like this over here for now. Now here just press the 7 key to go to your top view. And here I'm just going to change this to global. And we're going to actually scale this. So just press the S key and press the X key and go ahead and scale this on the X kind of like this over here. Now press the S key and press the Y key and scale it in a bit more. I'm just going to do on the X just a little bit more over here. Now here you can see that it's just going to move a little bit when you're moving it, and that's fine. We can obviously go to object mode, and over here you can actually just press the 1 key and just click on this red arrow and just realign it over here again. Okay, so that's fine. So what we're going to do now is go ahead and switch to edit mode and make sure that professional editing is enabled. And here I'm just going to, let's say, select 2 vertices over here, press the 3 key, and I'm going to press the G key and go ahead and do the middle scroll wheel. And here I'm just going to kind of bring it close to the chest over here. Do the same thing on these, let's say, 2 vertices, press the G key, 3 key, press the G key and just bring it up a bit. Now press the G key again and scroll this down to kind of make it go here. Okay, just get a general idea of what you want for this. Now here I'm just going to go ahead and disable this, press the A key to select everything, and here I'd like to kind of rotate it a bit and press the G key and bring it a little closer to the body. Okay, now go ahead and do W, and here I'm just going to subdivide. I'm going to do W and just smooth it out a few times, 1 and then 2. Now go ahead and press the tab key. Now click on this object, press the M key. Here we're just going to throw it on this last layer over here and just click this to make sure that we're satisfied with it. Now if you press the R key, it'll simply go up. So let's go ahead and do file and save. Okay, so now we're going to create the mirror version of the shoulder bone shape so it appears correctly on the shoulder.touch.r bone. So go ahead and click on this bone, press the shift key down, click on this one, go to the data tab and make sure that only the touch bone layer is selected and make sure that the axis is enabled. Now here what we're going to do is hide the rest of the bones. So just do Control I to invert the selection and press the H key to hide. Now go ahead and go to this layer over here, click on this object, go to the Object tab, make sure that the axis is enabled. Here we're going to do Control I to invert the selection and just press H to hide everything. Now go ahead and press the Shift key down and turn this layer back on. Go ahead and click on this object, press the Shift key down, click on this bone, and here I just want you to do the middle mouse button to rotate. Now here you can see that the axis for the object and the bone are aligned, right? This is why on the object we did copy transform and then do Control A and do visual transform. So when we press the tab key to go into edit mode, whenever we press the G key, the bone shape object on the bone itself is going to move correctly, right? So here you could say that if you take a look at the alignment of the axis, they're basically both operating in the same type of coordinate system. Okay, now go ahead and click on this one and press the 7 key. Now here you can see, because when you mirror bones, they can only be rotated. The x-axis for this bone is pointing in this direction, and the y-axis is pointing in this direction. Now when we click on this bone over here, we can clearly see that the x-axis is pointing in this direction, right? So this means that when we click on this object and duplicate it and mirror it, basically it needs to match the axis of this bone. Now the way we're going to do this is by simply using a parent-child relationship technique to mirror the duplicated version of this object correctly so it aligns itself to the bone axis. Okay, so to do this, go ahead and press the 1 key to go to your front view, and here just go ahead and click on this object over here. Now here we're going to go ahead and zoom out, do shift middle mouse button, and actually do shift C to place the 2D cursor. Now the reason we selected this object is because it simply switches to object mode. So here we can do shift A and of course do empty. If we were on the bones and pose mode, this would have been grayed out. So here what I want you to do is just add an empty and plain axis. Okay, and what we're going to do is make this empty the parent of the duplicated object. So go ahead and first click on this object, do shift D to duplicate, right click to cancel, go ahead and zoom out, do shift middle mouse button, and here you're going to press the shift key down, click on this empty, do control P and set up that relationship. Now here, as I've shown you, that if you click on this empty, which is the parent, and press the G key, wherever the parent goes, the child will follow. So this means that if we mirror the empty itself on the x-axis, this object should be mirrored correctly on the right side. Okay, so here what we're going to do is, having this empty selected, just do Control M and do X and enter. And notice that over here it's showing a -1 value on the scale. Okay, but what I want you to notice over here is that if you click on this object and press the 7 key, here you can see that we've mirrored it correctly. Now the only issue here is that the x-axis is pointing in this direction, and if we click on this bone, you can see that the x-axis is pointing in that direction. So we're going to fix that. Now first what I want you to do is to go ahead and click on this object so we can switch back to object mode. I'll press the 1 key. Now here you will notice that if you click on this empty and actually do X and delete, right, the child will go back to the way it was. I'm going to do Control Z to undo this. Now if we want the child to stay where it is, it of course needs to know how it should be positioned based on the parent itself. So what we can do is click on this empty and do Control A, and here we can just apply the scale. You'll see that the negative goes away. So now the empty is basically aligned to the world coordinate system. This means that the child is just going to stay here. If you click on this empty, do X and delete, you'll notice that the object just stays put. Okay, so this is a very quick way of doing this. Go ahead and press the 7 key. Now what we need to do is basically fix the alignment of these bones. Now before we do that, I want you to go ahead and click on this bone, go to the data tab over here and turn off those shapes. Notice that over here that the object y-axis is a little to the left based on this bone. So here you can see that it does the same thing. Okay, so it did in fact mirror this correctly. So go ahead and now turn the shapes back on. Okay, so what we need to do is go ahead and click over here on this object, and what we need to do is actually flip the axis so it appears on the other side. So to do this, all we have to really do is switch this to individual origins, and of course we're really just going to do it on the local. Remember, it doesn't matter if you do global or local, you still have to press the X key 2 times. Okay, here I'm just going to do it local so you can see what's actually going on. So here on the object level, first we're going to flip the axis, so we have to do this with the mirror. So here we're just going to do Control M and do X 2 times, right, and left click. So you can see that it has been mirrored. Notice where this shape is appearing over here. Okay, now what we're going to do is go ahead and first make sure that this is named correctly. So go ahead and remove this and type in .r and enter. Just do Control C on this, click on this bone, go to the bone tab, and over here just do Control V. Okay, so notice that where that shape is appearing, okay, it's basically a line. So what we need to do now is basically tell these vertices to come on this side. So the way we're going to do this is, of course, we can't do individual origins when we're in edit mode. So here, having this selected, you're going to do Shift S and do cursor to selected to put the cursor on the origin point of this object itself. Go ahead and switch this to the 3D cursor. Now go ahead and press the tab key to go into edit mode. Make sure that everything is selected, and here we're going to simply mirror this again on the local x-axis. So here we can just do make sure that this is on the 3D cursor, do Control M and just do X 2 times and press the left mouse button. Okay, now press the tab key to go back into object mode. So here you can see that how we've mirrored it. Okay, now make sure you take the time to understand how this was accomplished. So if you press the 3 key to go to the right view, you can see that we can confirm this by simply clicking over here. If we click again, you can see that it's actually in fact selecting the right bound because they're overlapping. If you click on this object and click again, it indeed is mirrored correctly because we're selecting it. So go ahead and now click over here on this layer, do Alt H to bring everybody back, and here we can actually just remove the axes. We don't need to see them anymore. Okay, go ahead and go to this layer over here. Go ahead and click on a bone over here, just do Alt H to bring everyone back. Okay, now here we can go ahead and click this and press the R key to confirm that this is working. Click over here and press the R key to confirm that it is working. So here we've got the shoulders rigged. So now we're just going to go under File, do Save As, and let's save this as rigging lesson 04G.blend. So I'll see you in the next lesson. Thank you.